Welcome, everyone, to session 3 of the Fydae Great Cloud.
3.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, regardless, let's let's start this off with a quick recap. Nafala, give us what you remember, if anything.
Let's see, we were on a ship. There was some warp travel. We had that monster thing that was in the lower deck that Isabella and I had handled. Then about a week after that, there were some more incidents in the engine room. The whole crew got kind of crazy, and we ended up jumping out of the void, and someone else described the rest of that.
I went by myself while the mutiny was breaking out. I went by myself to seek out the source of the unnatural anger that I felt. I came across. It's supposed to be this ceremonial room that was that had skulls laid out purposefully, ritualistically, and I took out the hell pistol and I shot twice at a skull, and it only cracked. At which point I heard a laughing voice, and then I ran away from it. And then I grabbed Tristan and ran back there because Tristan has an unnatural hatred of chaos. So when he heard ritualistic from me, we both ran there, and we promptly saw nothing that I saw. And then I voluntarily threw myself in the brig for a week, and I'm trying to forget that, and I have 2 insanity points now.
to be clear, I don't think Tristan has a hatred for chaos. He wouldn't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
None of us do.
Yeah. You say chaos, I go, what?
I mean,
No.
even me with, like, my warp knowledge, I don't really know what
Oh, that's
chaos
bad.
is.
I have a hatred of the Dark Legions, because I had to fight against legionnaires tainted by the ruinous powers. So I have hatred for those people.
Hatred, dark legionnaires.
I have hatred chaos worshippers.
By extension, would that mean you have a hatred for chaos?
Yeah, but
Yeah, but he doesn't really know what it is that he doesn't truly understand it. He doesn't understand it.
Right.
He has a
right,
hatred
okay.
of anything, I
The
guess,
boss-
occult
boss.
or seemingly
I get it.
unnatural.
I get it. Cool.
Yeah.
So we exited the warp.
Yes, 1 second. Continue discussion. I shall return momentarily.
Okay. We exited the warp, and then we were greeted by, what did they call themselves? Anyone remember? The Sovereign Kingdom of something.
Avgar. Avgar. So they are... We've heard this name, some of us, during the mutiny. Some of the crew were chanting this name, Avgar.
That's not good, chanting.
And we don't really know why. And then we exited warp, seemingly innocuously. And were confronted by a dozen ships that said you've entered the sovereign space of Avgar, prepare to be fired upon. And that was how our last session ended.
So
We're
I'm
a couple
just
of
gonna
other
take it
things.
from there.
Yeah.
Meta knowledge, we are 5 years in the past.
Unknowns to us.
Nostromo, do you want to recap your experiences?
So I was presented with a trial of temptation during my navigation, and I succumbed to it, taking us pretty far off course by being enticed by the cloud itself to delve deeper into its depths. And so, yeah, we actually ended up going quite far off course, being much, much deeper into the cloud than we initially intended, and we ended up 5 years in the past because warp travel.
So not only did we not end up correctly in the XYZ coordinates, we also ended up wrong in the XYZ and delta T coordinates.
Oops.
Yes.
Time as a dimension.
Which we don't know yet as characters.
No,
but we'll
that's
find out.
meta knowledge. We have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
Who's got Chronos as items on them? I do.
Not me.
Well, our Chronos wouldn't show it.
Yeah.
What was it? I think
Our
I think it
Chronos
was-
wouldn't show it unless we tried to compare it with another Imperial time source, but we're so far outside the bounds of the Imperium that
Right. There's no.
there
there's no
would
GMT here.
there would be no accurate time recording.
What is time?
Yeah.
Don't
Because-
worry, Roboot's
because you know-
trying to figure that out for you.
The Imperial calendar actually has a number that comes at the end that goes from, I believe, 0 to 9, that indicates the accuracy of the recording. So 0 would be a time recording taken on Terra itself, and then 9 would be basically just a wild guess.
19th inch.
They're like
Total sense.
approximately somewhere.
Yeah,
in the
approximately.
millennium.
Yes, somewhere in the past or future 1,000 years. It
So
happened.
9 would be let's mark a note here. Ordo Chronos has to deal with this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of Imperial recordings from the fluff end up being around like a 3 or a 4,
That makes sense.
being somewhere in the realm that it, is either taken close enough to Terra that it could be directly verified via astropath to an astropath in the Sol system, or that it was verified through like a relay of several different astropaths going back to the Sol system.
I like that astropaths are just little computer clocks that just ping the central server for time verifications.
Yes, that's important. That's when you get if you don't have it, you get the blue screen of death. Clock watchdog timeout error. It's been showing up in one of my work computers for some reason. Even
That's
though it's not
unfortunate.
Overclocked. It makes 0 sense.
Unless
I was getting that a lot.
She
Remember
goes
when
5
I
years in the past.
initially built my first computer, I was
Yeah.
getting that error quite a few times.
How'd you fix it?
I didn't. It was a bad CPU.
I didn't. Okay. Did
Yeah.
you try reinstalling Windows?
I tried
perhaps?
everything, Jesse. Don't you
Okay.
remember?
That's right.
I tried
those were some,
literally everything.
Those were some bad memories, I recall. Nafula, you're using a hunting rifle?
Yep. And a mace.
Your height is 6 what?
6'2".
6'2", 200 pounds, hunting rifle. What kind of armor?
Enforcer light carapace.
Enforcer light carapace. Right.
That's 5 all
This is
around,
so
right?
that I will draw the scene of you sniping the
Oh,
what was it? What was it called?
Kenneth just said it was like a possessed human.
Yeah,
It
it's
wasn't
just,
even
it's
like
just
a
a
real
warp
demon.
spawn.
Yeah, it was. Here, I'm gonna go to gamesworkshop.com.
Because
Chaos
the
Spawn
thing in my
is
head
that.
is one of the pinkies from Doom 2016.
No, that would actually be
Way
Uh,
worse.
an actual pinky. Would be more like a Zinchen minor.
Ah, okay. Okay.
I googled Pinky and got Pinkie Pie.
That's very unfortunate. I'm so sorry.
Fucking internet, man.
All right.
All right.
Well, let's
All
begin
right.
in earnest now. Now that we've bored our listeners with our
Drivel.
discussions.
Yeah. Imagine how I feel. Regardless.
Wow.
So, to set the scene, you had just dropped out of the war into this unknown system. Preliminary scans gave you Vox traffic, ship lanes, several stellar vessels, and 2 seemingly bustling, occupied worlds. You received not a specific Vox channel, but a general intercepted Vox communication stating that there are that there has been interlopers within the sovereign territory of Avgarn. And as of right now, roughly 6 vessels all seem to be heading towards the outer reaches of the system, and to you. And that's where we begin. You are gathered on the bridge, except for our lovely navigator who has only recently detached himself from the throne. I leave it to you.
Captain,
Yes, Seneschal.
I request permission to masquerade as a member of a noble house in order to gain favor with our encounter.
It's your hide, if you so wish. We are in. You do realize we are in the wild frontiers of the Imperium. I have no idea why this is even here. Does anyone know how this could be here? Has anyone heard of Avgarn?
Metadoc, do we know in character where in the warp storm we are? Where in the Great Cloud, I mean?
I do.
Okay, but the rest of us have no idea.
No, we're not navigators.
We were originally heading. I'm gonna box down to Nostromo. Nostromo, we were headed to a small star system that Sartell referred to us that was supposed to be uninhabited. Why do I see 6 vessels and 2 fully manned? I appear to have stumbled back into the Imperium, Nostromo.
So, I'm just going to relay back to him the coordinates that I determined last session from my stellar navigation tests to our approximate position within the cloud.
Based on this data that it gives you, the nice representation is in your mind. If you can imagine the gap of space between the maw leading to the Coronis and the defiled world of Fangs world, you seem to have bridged that gap in very little time at all.
So, Cross,
Yes.
what is your plan with masquerading to be of a noble house? If we're this far away from the Imperium, what's your goal? What's your game?
My reasoning is thus. A ship without a distinct mission like ours is clearly suspicious. However, a sign of a noble house, perhaps even masquerading as a rogue trader, has a purpose setting out into the frontier, which is where we are, into the unknown. As we are parlaying with them, I would recommend the navigator and the helmsman to prep ourselves for an emergency warp jump if necessary, if open fired upon, because we're not fighting the 6 ships ahead of us.
That makes sense.
I do believe that I'm the captain here. Seneschal. And I do believe we do have a mission. This is now our sovereign planets, as is the right of our warrant of trade. I'm confused as to how, in unsettled space, we've encountered civilization, but we must clearly understand, A, how, and B, how we can bring it into the fold of our burgeoning empire. Could I go to... Where is our helmsman? Not our helmsman. Who handles our auspexes? Probably.
So in that respect, it could be pretty much anyone who wishes to use the auspexes. The helmsman would normally be the person.
All right.
My liege, you wish to use the auspices?
I need you to show me the trajectory of these ships that are coming. Is there any?
You're breaking up a
Yeah,
bit.
you cut out for a second there. I think.
How about now?
Okay.
Is there anything else around us, helmsman? Who else could they be looking for other than us? Is there anything else going on in box traffic? Are they still broadcasting anything?
When I do like a perception plus the ship's detection rating roll?
Yeah, that'll be sufficient. In this case, probably you're going to want to use scrutiny as your actual skill.
All right, so scrutiny, plus the ships. What's my scrutiny at? Oh, just basic. Plus the ships. So I am rolling with a 54, and I got a 53. So 0 degrees of success.
Wait, so you don't have...
I have it as a basic skill, so that actually cuts it in half, right?
minus 20.
Minus
Not
20?
in half.
Okay, so then we fail.
Alright, the Vox chatter is more or less mostly incomprehensible jarble. There is still kind of the occasional channel, which is still common, basic, but it doesn't really tell you anything.
Sir, there seems to be no other ships. They seem to be heading directly to us.
Great. Well, Cross, you can. I'm more than happy to let you open Vox channels as a representative of this house and no other. And I would like you to begin negotiations to bring them into the fold. In the meantime, Nostromo, you should probably get back in your throne.
Captain, how do we present ourselves? What kind of mission do we state to them?
Tell them
Keep in mind that
we
we have no practical power here, as they have superiority in firepower and ships.
I defer to you to just to figure out how. I do recall that you are my diplomat.
Captain,
Very well.
what precisely is going on up there that I need to get back into the throne for?
You
You're not-
dropped us into a star system with 6 hostile ships, Nostromo.
You're not possibly suggesting. You're not possibly suggesting an emergency warp jump.
Oh, not only am I suggesting that, Nostromo, if you don't get down there, I will vent the deck and we'll all die anyway. So get back in your throne.
Captain, if you can give me just a little bit of time, I can potentially chart a course so we don't jump blind into the jaws of some warp beast and all die a much more horrifying death than being suffocated.
How much time do you need to chart a course? We can try. Cross can try and stall them for that long.
That much I can do.
Metatalk, how long do I need to chart a course?
Let's see if there's any specific rule in the primer for...
That being said, do you think we could outrun the ships? Do we know what kind of ships are coming towards us? Do they look fast?
Okay, that will be another Auspex check if someone wants that. Besides the navigator who lacks
Who's got scrutiny?
not navigator, the helmsman.
Scrutiny.
I believe Isabel Cross does.
I do.
Nice.
Scrutiny. I don't think I have scrutiny. However, I can make Cyniscience as a alternative to an auspices test.
Sounds like heresy.
Makes sense.
Okay, what are we doing?
Why not both?
Yeah, why don't you both roll and see if we can figure out what these ships are and if we can outrun them.
Oh wow, I actually have moderately good perception. So 39 out of 48.
49 out of 48, so you just fail.
No, 39 out of 48.
Oh, 39. Alright, so a very quick scan gives you the idea that you're dealing with at least 3 ships that are comparable to the Helmsgaurd. So several Raider class, followed by 2 frigates and what is probably a light cruiser.
Oh. We probably shouldn't challenge that.
Very well. I'm going to
Isabella, I suggest that you open communications. I will be
I will
here
do
with you.
so right now.
Please represent yourself as a representative of our house. And
Are we going to be flying, moving the ship, or are we going to be holding here while they approach us?
I suggest we hold position so we don't look
Suspicious?
Yeah, I would agree.
Can we still make that warp jump if we're holding?
Yeah, the translation into the warp doesn't require you to be.
It's like slip space rupture. You just kind of move into the opening.
Right. Okay.
Except for it's on fire and it's hell.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
So,
Okay.
any word on how long you think it's going to take me to try and chart a new course?
Navigating. I am looking it up. Well, there's nothing in the primer, so I'm consulting the
Core rulebook.
order.
I don't think that they really mention a time frame either.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
gonna say. 1 second.
What do you guys guys think's gonna happen?
I
They're
think
gonna
we
die.
shouldn't stand still.
No, if we look like we're running this communications, is gonna break down real quick.
well, it don't look like we're running.
But if we do hold position, they may try to board us.
Yeah, if we
We
hold
don't have-
position, they could very well catch us, and then there's like no escape.
So what? We move around as we're talking to them.
Yeah,
Let's-
we.
let's
Basic,
keep
yeah,
them-
whole distance basically.
Yeah, let's keep them at a maximum range of our prow weapon.
Why does this feel like Eve Online?
It is.
We can,
Yeah.
I'm gonna right click on one of these ships and keep distance 500 kilometers.
That's a lot.
Yeah. By that I mean escape.
Flee! Yeah, so we'll make the necessary
So, fun
Shipboard
meta
requirements.
talk here. There is a shipboard action for the Navigator called Warp Interference, where I can essentially cloud the ship in warp energy
Excuse me?
and make it so that it's much harder for enemy ships to target us.
Oh.
we can do that once negotiations break down. If we need
Yeah.
to leave. Because that's we should do that. We are not going to fight this fight right? Because we are outclassed by easily a factor of 10.
There's there's 2 raider classes, a frigate, and
No,
a
no,
light
no.
cruiser.
Three raider classes, 2 frigates,
I guess.
Oh,
and a light
even
cruiser.
and a light
Alright.
cruiser. So, for people who may not be super familiar with Warhammer 40k naval stuff, frigates being the lowest like main military class ship are each probably 1.5 kilometers long. A light cruiser probably 2 to 3, yeah, somewhere in that range. So these are
They're
not
normally flagships.
yeah, cruisers, well, not necessarily light cruisers, but cruisers, which are probably around 3 kilometers long, are often flagships for smaller navies. And then, the big bads, when you get to large fleets, would be grand cruisers, battleships. Those are easily, 6 to 7 kilometers long.
2 to 3 million people staffing them.
Yeah.
The best part is that the core rulebook is just like, there's such a thing as a battle barge and a battleship. You'll never get one. If you see one, you're going to die. Leave it alone. We're not touching it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to fly one. Fuck up. Right? No, sorry. But
All right. As far as the transition to the warp, you can do that immediately. However, lack of rituals, preparations, and all these things will be subject you to fiery forces.
Yeah,
So-
well, I understand that. So I'm asking, how long is it going to take to perform the necessary
At
planning?
At least an hour,
Okay.
Oh,
and that's assuming your omens don't bode ill.
can I talk that long?
Well,
no, we will. I'm going to join you in these negotiations. This will be good.
Okay.
so the
I'm going to get to work on the necessary planning,
Yes.
divining the auguries,
Auguries.
all that immediately.
So
All right, let's
Tristan,
open comms.
wait, Tristan. We've come to a consensus about keeping the ship at a certain distance from them. So we are moving. We're not stopping in the middle of space.
So we are. I just took a quick glance at the starships chapter, and our Havoc Raider does have a higher speed, I think, than all of the other ships that are
Interesting.
approaching us.
So we could potentially outrun them at least for a while.
Yeah,
Right, I think-
it's
I think
possible
the
that
only-
we could simply stall them by staying out of range.
Okay, so that's the plan as I talk them to death. Okay,
Let's do it.
we could potentially lose them around the corner of one of the planets here.
all right.
Well, let's find out if they're even talking about us. Yeah,
Gravity slingshot. Gravity slingshot.
I like it.
Soon. All right, let's open up comms.
Now, one quick thing. Since we are attempting invasive maneuvers and trying to maintain max distance from these guys, I want a navigation stellar roll from our helmsman.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't he be making a pilot roll?
Yeah, pilot stellar or pilot spacecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for pilot spacecraft, I'm rolling with a 51 and I got a 34.
Okay. So for the most part, you are succeeding in this attempt to skirt the outer rims of this star system. Carry on. All right. Now for Isabel Cross here and the captain, you want to open up a direct comm to anyone who would listen.
Yes, because we don't know which ship to direct to.
Okay. What would you like to say in this message?
Captain, with your permission.
Granted.
Oh, wait, time out. Meta talk. Are we representing the Imperium or no?
Yes.
Okay, so this
I
is
will
the
not let you do otherwise.
So this is the Imperial Raider. Wait, this is the Imperial. What ship? do
We're
we
just
see?
say vessel. We're the
This
Imperial
is the
vessel.
Imperial vessel Helmsgaurd.
Under the command of Lord Ravermore.
Yes, under the command of Lord Raver Morley. We do not seek to intrude upon this space. Please cease your hostilities.
Don't assume hostilities. Just
Oh wait.
request to speak with whoever's in command.
We request to speak with whoever's in charge of the fleet in front of us, of this approaching fleet. Okay, so let me word that better. This is the Imperial vessel Helmsgaurd, captained by Raver Morley. We wish to speak with whoever is in charge of this fleet that is approaching our vessel. Hard stop.
Okay. Immediately, and this is going to be detected by your auspexes, pretty much all Vox traffic in the system halts. And then one single message is broadcast across all channels. We will suffer no servants of the corpse god. The left hand of the skull throne demands your destruction. Prepare for an honorable death.
That's problematic.
That was the perfect amount of time.
Excellent,
I look at
excellent
Raver,
job, Isabel.
I look at the captain and I say, well, negotiations have broken down.
In my
job, we
service,
stalled him for a good.
Have I heard of the corpse god before? I've had the skull throne before.
You will not have heard of the skull throne, but the term corpse god would have been something that was thrown out by people you've dealt with in a hostile fashion before.
Okay,
Yes.
so currently, are we facing towards the coming ships? Have we been like retro thrusting backwards, or have we turned around?
You have about face and have been moving away.
Okay, I'm going to. I just did a willpower check and I failed. So I'm going to turn towards them, and I believe I can do like a full movement with the ship. What is it called? Uh,
Oh dear lords.
yes. Adjust speed, and I can push it to, its number of VUs that it can travel. So I believe its speed is 9. So I'm going to turn the ship around if I can, or at least start to turn the ship around and accelerate
Okay.
towards them.
Short
Kenneth.
campaign, guys.
Well,
All right, you guys
and
are
it-
far enough away that I'm not going to have you test for these at the moment, and that's just simply happening.
Kenneth,
So
have
do you
I
notice-
made my way back to the bridge yet?
The bridge or your throne, you mean?
I assume that they're connected in some way. That I would have to get there through the bridge, or
Not necessarily. That doesn't have to be established.
okay. Well, I would like to go to the bridge first.
Okay.
how
So can-
far
so-
away are these ships from us?
As far as the scale, they are still several million kilometers away. But
So how
that
long will it take for them to come into danger?
by your measure, it should be at least a couple hours before they are aboard upon you.
Okay.
So do we're on the bridge, right? So we see the helmsman turning the ships.
Just furiously
Yes.
whipping this fucking.
Tristan, the hell are you doing?
Let me
I thought
know
we
when
were-
I arrive, Kenneth.
These are
Okay.
heretics. They need to be put down.
With
cannot
what?
suffer heresy within the Imperium. They were
Tristan,
wiped out.
no,
like-
we are one ship against 6.
and
one of which
by
being a
the
light
Emperor's
cruiser.
Mighty fist, we shall succeed.
Captain,
Tristan, while I admire your in the God Emperor and agree traitors to his Imperium must be expunged with extreme prejudice, it'll happen in due time. You're aware of that ship, yes? As I want to try to point at aspects of the great light cruiser.
I see the cruiser. I see the cruiser, my lord. But I believe that with a righteous fury, we shall be able to still bring it down.
Is it in the Emperor's interest and in the Emperor's vision to sacrifice the souls of all of his loyal followers on this ship on the altar of your faith here?
Meta talk, real quick. Are you kidding? All right, sorry, back in.
No, I get you.
The Emperor would loves his sacrifices.
I like it. Well, you have to remember, we'll talk about this later.
so we are
That was-
headed.
Helmsman, resume maintaining distance, or I will have you brigged. I will have you.
I turned to 90 degrees away from them, so I'm on like a perpendicular.
Perpendicular course. Okay.